The series of strikes in the UK seems nowhere close to an end. Now it's Border Force workers that have announced a walkout, starting from today until December 26th, and then between December 28th and 31st. The walkout comes a day after ambulance staffers strike, and as the rising cost of living is outpacing employees' pay in the UK. The walkout of around 1,000 Border Force staffers may cause severe disruption at airport operations. The Border Force workers, many of whom check passports on arrival, will walk out at Heathrow, Gatwick, Manchester, Birmingham, Cardiff and Glasgow airports and the port of New Haven. To control the situation, military and civil servants have been drafted at 6 major airports and the port. The woes of passengers don't end with disruptions at the airports though. Now, travellers arriving through airlines may also be affected by rail strikes, which are due to run from December 23rd to 29th. Thousands of members of the Rail, Maritime and Transport Union at Network Rail will strike on Christmas Eve. The strike will cause train services to stop running at around 3 o'clock GMT that day. Postal workers will also walk out on Friday. Well, joining us now for more on this story is my colleague Alex Isaac, live in London. Alex, of course, we're approaching one of the most important times of the year for people here in the UK, but also one of the busiest, and now people arriving into the country are going to be facing what can only be described as a very difficult situation.
The day before the Christmas holidays, Christmas Eve, is tomorrow, and obviously the Border Force, people being on strike at the airports is going to cause a lot of backlog. From what I understand, at the moment the armed forces are in a lot of the airports helping out, and they're doing a great job. People are managing to get through, and there doesn't seem to be as much disruption as was planned, because all of these contingency plans have been put in place since Border Force said they were striking months ago. Now, the concern is ongoing, though, from throughout the Christmas period into January. We now know that the ambulance strikers, Unison, will go again on strike. The Trust will go on strike again in January for 2 more days. So it looks like there won't be any movement towards getting pay increases for any of the strikers at all at the end of this year. And in fact, it looks like January we're going to see once again the problems on the roads, on the rails, with the postal workers and nurses, doctors and ambulance workers as well, all going on strike. The government really still is trying to push that inflation needs to come down before any pay rises will be considered. But the general public is having this slight fatigue over these strikes. Some of the strikers that are happening right now in the Christmas period don't really affect many people who've already made their plans to return home or to return to loved ones. And a lot of people, general public, are getting frustrated, and they're getting very frustrated with the Tory government. So we've only a few more years to go until we have another general election. This isn't really working out in the government's favour. But for most people, they just want to get through Christmas and they just want to get through their holiday season.